Welcome back. I'm George, and I'm always happiest when I'm with you. So here's another video for you, but this one's a little bit different. This is my way of reaching out to the community this time. I need some help. So I'm asking for you to just follow along, and if you've got anything to add, please help us. Now, we did this once before when we assembled that. Remember the audible PID that we assembled for Mike that worked audibly because he's blind. An excellent distiller, but he just can't see. But now that he has this audible PID, he's able to run his still and control the temperature. Amazing. Now, there are so many applications that we have in our trade, hobby, in our skills, that require sight. But unfortunately, there are a portion of our population that are not sighted. So our next obstacle was actually, let's see if we can make an audible proof and trail hydrometer. That would be awesome. So we've worked on that. Oh, and please don't forget to subscribe, share us with your friends. All right. We've worked on that diligently for a couple of months now. In the past several weeks, we've made some progress, but I'm kind of stuck in a few areas. So let me show you what I have so far. I'm going to lay out the problem set to you, what my solution is to this point, and then where I need to go from here. And this is where you come in. Okay, this is a parrot. And you'll see, simply, there's a proof and trail hydrometer inside this parrot. And you know that your alcohol comes in here and it fills this up, and of course it floats. So a proof and trail hydrometer measures alcohol content after distillation based on buoyancy. And of course, the higher it floats, the less alcohol that's in there. The lower it floats, the higher the proof. So what we do know, is I do know that the most important aspect of this was the distance between here and here. So I tried several things. I tried RFID tagging. I tried laser point identification, and I just figured I could use Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, and a form of that trigonometry, and that works. Although it's just cumbersome. And of course my readings from here and here, and I even tried it from here and here, and I figured, because if I can get that distance is the same really as that distance if I can calibrate it. But I ran into some really harsh challenges with calibration. So most recently, I've spent the last almost 3 weeks on this, and I've come up with a solution, and that is time of flight, TOF, a time of flight sensor. Now, let me show you this. This is a proof and trail hydrometer, and I fashioned a cap on the top of it. Now, I added 1.5 grams of weight. So before you go there, I know that it floats a little bit differently, but we can calibrate that. Okay, we can, through the program, we can calibrate that to make that adjustment. Okay, so what happens here is I've got this right above here, I've got that cap on there, and I position the sensor right here on a stable platform. And this sensor sends out an IR radio wave, or what is it? It's just an IR radar, and it has a receiver right next to it. And it measures the time it takes for that signal to go here and return here. And it prints out in millimeters. It's that accurate. This thing is good up to like 4 meters. We're working with 20 centimeters, 200, 300 millimeters. So that difference, this thing's accurate enough to measure the difference between here and here. And I know that's really small for you, but that's what it does. and I'm already able to, in the programming language, and sounding like, believe it or not, it wasn't that difficult to figure out. In the programming language, I'm able to equate that distance to proof. So as an example, if it's 22 millimeters, that prints out as like 130 proof. If it's 21 millimeters, what does that mean? It means it's floating a little bit. Comes out to like 133 proof. And so on and so forth. So I'm able to do that. But still the point is that it's all visual. And let me demonstrate this, so you can see what I'm talking about. My challenge at the very end of this is to take these readouts and convert them into an audible signal on a speaker. And I want to put a button right there so that when I push the button, it displays, or it takes this data and sends it to the speaker and speaks it. Simple as that. Here's what I used. You can see here, I've got this. This is the VL53L1X hookup guide, and this is a time of flight sensor. And I've got that attached to an Arduino, which I've learned so much about Arduinos. Let me turn off that heater because that interferes with the audio. That's much better. Okay, now here's what we have going on, and I want to show you this. My time of flight sensor is mounted, and I've got my prototype. What I used just a piece of PVC pipe, and I can put it at the right place each and every time. And I used a K-cup. I just cleaned it out and turned it upside down and mounted that time of flight sensor on top. Okay? So right now it's measuring from here down to here because there's nothing in it. And you'll see, here's the graph. So you can see here that, and I just see when I bounce it around a little bit, it's that sensitive. Now it's sensing 17 times a second. It's taking a measurement, and it's just a little bit over 300 millimeters from the top to the bottom. And you can see how fast it's measuring, and it's pretty stable. Now, let me open up the serial monitor, and this shows you, and see, you can see here how it's, let me turn off the auto scroll for a second. See, 314 millimeters, distance proof 1.03. So what I haven't done is I haven't changed that function yet, and that function's right here, where it says, you know, distance millimeters, print distance, and right here is the formula. What that does is it just converts millimeters into inches, and then this one converts inches divided by 12 into feet. So, you know, it prints additionally, it prints millimeters, which I'm interested in, but not feet. I'm interested in proof. So I need to change this and this at some point. I'll get there. But my challenge now is for this portion to become audible. Let me turn on auto scroll again. You'll see that it's just constantly, it's just, again, 17 times a second. It's measuring that distance. Now, one other thing I'll show you is, I'll take this cap off here and see if I move it around, and you'll see that it's measuring the distance. See how it goes down? And it gets further away and further away and further away, and then it gets closer and closer and closer. So it's accurate, and it works. One other thing that I found was that if I paint the inside of the tube black where it's not reflective, it becomes even more accurate, and it balances out at the right distance. Whereas it's a little bit reflective in here, and of course it's measuring the return of that signal. Oh, it's amazing. So that's where I'm at. I've got this thing hooked up to, this is a breakout board. It's a red board, and it's nothing more than Arduino from SparkFun. And I've got the sensor here. I got that from SparkFun. The last thing that I've ordered, and I'll just put that back up there, that has not arrived yet, unless you have a better idea, please share. I've got this text-to-speech module. There it is, the EMIC2, and I've got that headed in. Let me back that up a little because I didn't want it to do that. There it is. And this is what I'm trying to do is take that output, and once I get that to do that, then I'll work on controlling when it happens. So that's my request for help. Well, and last but not least, of course, we're going to put this together once we get it right. So far it works, and I've used actual spirits in here, and what I did was, oh boy, man, I used a syringe to put more alcohol in here so that I can make it float differently, and it picks up the difference in how it floats, so I know it's working. All I got left to do now is to calibrate it and then package it all together so it works. And at the very end, of course, we're going to go to Florida. We're going to go down and see Mike, and we're going to calibrate it there for his system and let him use that. And then eventually, I'm going to put that and the Audible PID into one box so he's got it all in one place, and make that available to anybody else out there who needs it. It's not that hard now. Once we've done all this work and all that we're going to do with you, all the hard stuff's done. All the heavy lifting's done. All we got to do now is offer to the rest of the blind community, or those who are losing their sight for whatever reason, or just need that audible output. We're going to do that. So, I got my hands full, and I'm looking for some help. So please respond, comment below, send me an email. I'm all ears, and we're about to see what we can do to make this happen. Merry Christmas, and of course, happy distilling.